getting off of Sanchez now, let's go to A-Rod, one of my other favorite players here in New York. Apparently he's with Cameron Diaz this season. Last year it was Kate Hudson, and apparently there's a feud brewing between the two women. Do you know what's going on with that, and do you think that the different women have an effect on what he's actually doing?
You know what? I don't know. Cameron came out today and said that they're absolutely not in a relationship, but you know what? She has a movie coming out. So the more she talks about denying it, the more press that they're going to cover with her. And sometimes that's one of those stories where, of course, I mean, she's been leaving his apartment in the morning. We're all grown people. We know what the hell happens if she's leaving your apartment in the morning. You're A-Rod, like it happened. But at the end of the day, I think they're just hiding it, and you just it's hard to go what's for PR and what's real. You know what I mean? Nowadays, everything's so overly hyped and so faked out there that you really just don't know what's real. The Kate Hudson stuff with Gwyneth Paltrow playing, referee or mediator, who knows? Kate Hudson goes through guys like crazy. So, I mean, look at her track record. She's dating some whacked-out singer now. So you never know. I mean, that's one of those things. And Cameron, she's just, I don't know. I mean, A-Rod obviously likes him old and boy-bodied and not too good-looking.
Now, I also saw on your site that Lady Gaga at the New York Mets game and pretty much just sitting there in her bra and panties, just chilling, watching 9 innings of good old baseball, but refused to give any sort of interview to SNY, TV station for the New York Mets, of course. I mean, is she this just antisocial when she goes out to baseball games? She just wants to be left alone in her lingerie?
You know what? The Mets were lucky to have her at the game. That was the biggest PR the Mets have had in a while. I know they're playing good right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not follow baseball day to day, but I think the Mets are playing okay right now. But dude, she got the Mets in the paper. What else are you going to ask for? Maybe all the gays that love her will start following the Mets, and they can sell some jerseys.
Yeah, the Mets are playing all right. I mean, that was actually good press. Now that you talk about it, but I like Lady Gaga. I know Matt doesn't like her, but overall, what are your thoughts on Lady Gaga?
She's talented, and she knows how to kind of shock the world. She's kind of taking Madonna to the next level. Like, not necessarily next level, like she's going to be the next Madonna, but, going over the top in a Madonna kind of way to, like, get that pub. I mean, just like you said, she didn't do nothing but flip off the cameras, So, I'm not a huge fan of Lady Gaga, but I appreciate the PR spin she puts on everything and the way she goes about things. I actually saw her down the road from where I live. There's a place called Jones Cafe. And I walked in, it was like 9:30 in the morning, and I'm sitting there and drinking coffee and actually blogging, and I see this freak show walk in that was dressed like it was rainy. It was like, it was 70 degrees out here in LA, 9 in the morning, it was like probably 68, but just the haze started to go over, it was pretty sunny. Next thing you know, you see Lady Gaga walk in like a rain outfit, and you just, at that point, you just go, you know what, when is like trying too hard ever going to be like recognized and just shut down instead of like, congratulated? It's crazy.
We're talking to Terez Owens from the esteemed TerezOwens.com. Just a couple more before we get you out. James Toney and Randy Couture, if you guys are into MMA, apparently they're going to fight a mixed martial arts match. And Randy Couture, one of the greatest of all times, and James Toney, a washed-up boxer. And he's fat, and I think he was on drugs a while ago. But if this is a stand-up match, I'm not so sure if James Toney doesn't win because he's one of the slickest punchers I've seen of all time. But Couture, I'm guessing he's going to put him in a triangle choke and that's it.
You know what? I hope. And this is where I think James Toney got the better of the negotiation because, yes, I am a huge Randy Couture fan, but Randy Couture is 47. I know James Toney's old, but, like, Randy Couture is not the Couture that he was when he was younger at all. So Randy Couture's best bet is to put that dude on the ground and go at it because if they start exchanging, Tony might knock him out, and you never know. It could be hype for the next fight. It could be whatever, but the Randy Couture-James Toney fight was just, I don't know. Couture likes to, it looks like at some point he likes to, like, eat fists. If you watch his matches, he likes to, like, get hit. And James Toney's not the guy you want to get hit from, so a little suspect about that match. You know what I mean? You just never know. I mean, I think any MMA fighter, like you put GSP at 170 against any 170-pound boxer, they're done. You know, you put anybody who's legitimately good, you put any one of these wrestlers, you put a Rashad Evans, who I'm not a huge Rashad Evans fan, you put against anybody at 205, like you had any cruiserweight, they don't stand a chance. But Randy Couture, for some reason, he just, like, whether he's lacking oxygen in his brain from being hit too many times or whatever, he likes to stand in there and punch with guys. And against James Toney, I don't know if that's a great thing, so I hope he takes him off his feet. And because I'm actually, besides the Pacquiao-Mayweather fan, I'm a huge MMA fan, huge. So I hope for MMA it does stand out, but it's one of those matches where, you know what, Dana White was pretty fair and he respects boxing, so he didn't put him in there with, like, you know, he's not going to put him in there with Lesnar.
Now, Terez, I'm not sure how big of a hockey fan you are, but post-game, after Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals when the Blackhawks defeated the Flyers, Jeremy Roenick got a little bit emotional and, in fact, started crying just because he was so happy that the Blackhawks won, being a former Blackhawk himself. Did you see that specific moment? And if you did, what are your thoughts about Roenick crying up in the broadcast booth?
Yes, I did. I'm a huge hockey fan. Actually, I can't name names. My brother-in-law played in the NHL up until 2 years ago for 9 years. He was an NHL tough guy. So I am a huge NHL fan, and Jeremy Roenick actually played with my brother-in-law, and I've met Jeremy a million times. For him to cry, it shows where his heart was. Chicago, when he, that was where his best years were. That was when he was the man. I know if you guys played like Sega Genesis, I know it might be past your guys' days, but Sega Genesis, Jeremy Roenick in 93, 94, 95 in hockey, EA Sports was pretty much the best player, most dominant player of all of video games I've ever even seen. So I think he deserved to cry. Because he put a lot into that city, man, for the years he was there. That guy gave it his all.
All right, Terez Owens, TerezOwens.com. Before we let you go, any other exclusives you're working on? I know you mentioned the Miles Austin stuff that you're planning to put out tomorrow, but any other exclusives coming out on your site?
You know what? No, nothing crazy right now. The Miles Austin is what we're pretty much working on at this point. Other than that, it might be up tonight, it might be up tomorrow. We're just making sure on a couple little points and getting our pictures, but to this day, there's someone else messing with Miles Austin who's kind of a, I would say an F-list celebrity, but we'll put it out there and we'll see what happens.
There you go, Terez Owens. Visit the website if you're listening to us online right now. Open up a new tab and type in TerezOwens.com, Terez Owens.com. You can catch the link on our blog, WCWPSports.com. Follow him on Twitter, all that stuff. Terez, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.